Good morning. It's Wednesday the 14th of November and here I am back in Porthcothan, and I've taken a bit of a gamble today. I drove the van down to Newquay this morning, where it's parked up behind my friend Dan's shop, which is a vape shop, Vape HQ, which is right in the centre of Newquay. Today I'm going to walk back, and I might be cutting it fine a little bit, bearing in mind that I learned so much about the way the sun goes down very quickly after 4 o'clock. It's 9 miles by road. According to my OS map planner, it's about 8.5 miles, and the time now is around about 11:30. And the reason that I've got here at this time is the only bus I could catch was actually at 10:35 from Newquay, so I didn't have a great deal of choice. So I'm going to be cutting it fine again, I would imagine. The weather is changed slightly. It's still bright and sunny, but there's quite a wind come up, and during the night it was raining quite hard on my roof of my van again. And as a consequence of that, I was up very early again, which I didn't really want to be after quite an exhausting walk yesterday. But I'm feeling okay. I'm going to give it a go. I've built in safety nets for today, 3 actually. One is I met a very nice taxi driver called Malcolm, and I've got his card in my wallet, and if all else fails I can give Malcolm a call and he'll come and pick me up. There is also the bus route in the reverse order that I've just caught. There are several buses that pass on the main road, which is never too far away from the coastal path. And also I've brought the torch, which Pete Penfold gave me, just in case it does get dark again. Even though it's a little bit heavy, it's still a very useful piece of kit. So I've got no idea what's going to happen today. Now, it's not very often that I forget things, but the one thing that I've forgotten today, bearing in mind that I'm walking south direct into the sun, is my sunglasses, which is a bit irritating, and so I'm going to find that a bit difficult. I think the other thing I'm going to find a bit difficult is the wind is very strong, and it's going to be even stronger on the tops of the cliffs, so forgive me in advance that there's going to be 1 or 2 shaky shots. So here we go. Well, this is Vicky, and I've just been having a bit of a natter while we were passing the time, and she's just having a walk around. And you live locally then, Vicky?
Yes, I live near Wadebridge and also in Bath. I go between the two.
Right. Are you originally from somewhere else?
Yes, maybe you picked up my accent. Originally from Shrewsbury in Shropshire.
Ah, right. No, well, I mean, no, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint it that far, but I could tell that you was not local. And the coast path, you get a lot of comfort from coming and walking out here and seeing this fantastic scenery.
Oh yes, I absolutely love it. It just throws all your cares away. And I've spent a lot too much time recently just working non-stop on my laptop, and I need some exercise and a breath of fresh air.
So it's a great escape, isn't it, really?
Oh yes.
And this weather, what about this weather? This is forecast now for the next sort of 7 to 10 days, this nice bright sunshine.
Oh, wow.
Sort of 15 to Sunday, apparently the temperature is going to get up to 16.
Oh gosh, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that is just fantastic. I mean, it's not what you expect in the middle of November, but yeah,
No.
I'm happily here. I haven't even got my coat on, and
No.
it's lovely. Yeah, gorgeous.
Mind you, I don't know which way you're going. I'm walking straight into the wind, and I made the mistake this morning of forgetting to bring my sunglasses, and so I'm walking straight into the sun as well.
Oh dear. I'll be doing that on the way back, yes.
So have you ever done any kind of long distance walking?
I'm more of a cyclist. I've done long distance cycles, like I cycle 100 miles a day if I need to. Walking I just do naturally. I don't really put on any specific clothes, but I can walk for a whole day without thinking about it too much. I do a lot of different types of exercise. I love my badminton and yoga as well.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, you look fit and healthy, if you don't mind me saying, Vicky. You look in good nick, if that's the right word. But look, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
I've given you a card, and stay in touch, please. That'd be very nice.
Definitely. Thanks,
and
Jim.
I know that means going back on Facebook or YouTube, but I'm sure you can do that for me.
I will do.
Okay, thank you very
trip.
much. Yeah, same to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye. 5 o'clock and I've just got back from my walk, and you must remember Dan from Sunday afternoon when we were watching the football, and he kindly invited me to leave the van at the back of his vape QC shop, and it's parked round there now. And so are you alright, Dan? Have you had a busy day?
I'm good. I've had a relatively busy day, yes, thank you.
Yes, so that's good. And I mean, what time do you finish today then? Is it
6:30.
6:30 every night? You put a long day in then, don't you? Sort of 9 till 6:30 every single day.
6:30. Sometimes it's 7, 7:30 before I leave here.
And then you've got to drive back to Workbridge as well.
20 minutes. It's okay.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought, I just assumed it was a bit further than
No,
that.
no. 20, 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, without going into all the details about the shops, I know you was telling us before. I'd like to talk to you about that in more depth before I leave.
Of course.
And my plan tomorrow is I'm going to walk to Mawgen Porth, and I didn't get quite finished today, so I'm going to tack on what I didn't get done today. It was a good walk, but I was just saying the sun was completely on my face all the time. The wind was in my face. Couldn't get any decent shots at all looking forward, so I was just limited to getting shots looking backwards. And I saw the lighthouse. You can actually see the lighthouse from here, can't you?
Yeah.
It's a good distance away. You can see it. It's clear as a bell, can't you?
You can, yeah. Trevose.
Yeah. So thank you very much for letting me stay here.
No problem.
It's been
anytime.
And you was like me on Monday. We had a bit of a hangover, I think, didn't we?
We had a lot of a hangover. Yeah. I didn't move from the sofa all day.
Really?
It was a heavy night.
I mean, it's not
a good night though.
Oh, well, it was great. I mean, it's not for me to have more than sort of 3 or 4 pints, to be honest, but I think we put more or double that away, didn't we?
I think I'm the rest, maybe triple.
Yes.
I'm still feeling it now.
Yeah,
it's Wednesday.
Really? Anyway, look, thanks for your hospitality, Dan. And I'll talk to you in more depth tomorrow.
Let's do it.
We will arrange to do something. I mean, I never look more than 2 days ahead.
That should be, mate, won't we?
I'm gonna be here for 2 or 3 days if that's okay with you, and I'll start looking for something once I get probably the other side of once I get towards St Ives. Then I'm going to start looking, and I'll do my figures on the campsites and the distances, and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, we'll grab a few beers, mate, on the way.
Lovely. Okay.
Maybe not as many as Monday though.
Oh no.
Sunday rather.
Yeah. Well, it's good weather forecast on Sunday. It's forecast 16 degrees on Sunday.
Yeah, they've said it's going to get better. Yeah.
So
it's not bad for this time of year.
It isn't.
Good for your walking.
Soon gets dark though, doesn't it? Look at it now. 5 o'clock and it's dark again. All right. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
No worries.
It's 7:41 on Thursday the 15th of November, and here I am back in Mawgen Porth, having just caught the early bus, which took about 15-20 minutes to get here. Newquay is about 6 miles away, and I'm going to be walking back to Newquay, through Newquay, and I'm heading for Mawgen Porth, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to end up. But there is a good bus service wherever. I've got loads of safety nets in place so that if I get tired or if the weather changes, which is highly unlikely, then I can get back to Newquay, back to Vape HQ, where my van is parked around the back of the shop. Well, it's nearly 9 o'clock and I'm just dropping down into Watergate Bay now, and I've come across Tom, who's heading in the opposite direction. And so where are you off to today then, Tom?
I'm going up to Trevose Lighthouse, which is about 15 and a half miles from home, then I'll turn around and come back.
Wow, that's fantastic. You're obviously a seasoned walker then. You must do a lot of this kind of thing, I guess.
I do about 3,500 miles on foot a year.
Yes.
In fact, last 3 years I've walked further than I've driven.
Wow, that's incredible. And so how long is that going to take you then?
I average about 3.5, 4 miles an hour.
Really, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's about a mile every 16 and a half minutes. That's some going.
Yeah.
I used to do that when I was like training for this really. It's a little bit fast for me.
It's easy going though. This is one of the easy bits. The hard bit you're going to find is between St Ives and Land's End.
Yes.
Because it's permanently in the shadow, so it's permanently wet, and the whole footpath is lots of boulders, so you can't get any pace up, any momentum up. It's 2 paces, slip in a puddle, step over a boulder, and it's like that for about 10 miles.
Oh, wow.
And so that's going to slow you down, I'll warn you that. But that's the worst bit really as far as the coast path's concerned.
Well, that's cheered me up no end.
Mind you, that'll be in a couple of days' time.
Well, I mean, I'm doing all right. I mean, I know we were talking, you're 60, I'm 70, and maybe that 10 years makes the difference and everything. But what about your other adventures then, Tom? Have you been abroad walking and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've been to Norway and the Pyrenees and all over. I do a lot of climbing trips with buddies of mine. We do a lot of rock climbing, and I've done a lot of kayaking. I've kayaked around Cornwall and Skye and all the islands up in Scotland. And
wow.
Yeah, and this is training really, because most people I go with are substantially younger than me, and I cannot let the youngsters beat me.
Well, that's interesting. I must admit, I've had 1 or 2 walkers walking with me, and you know, the problem I've got is I'm making a film about this, and so I'm stopping and starting all the time. But you know, they find it a little bit of a struggle to do sort of, you know, more than 15, 16 miles. I've got a Fitbit and I'm averaging 16 miles a day, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
And then there's all the logistics and moving your van and all the rest of it. It really is like a full-time job, and then I've got to edit the film, and that takes nearly as long as the walk, you know. But it's good fun. I'm enjoyed it.
But that's the trouble when you need the overnight. If you're not going to carry it on your back,
yes,
the logistics of picking it up, and particularly down in Cornwall, because the bus services aren't great.
Right.
There's some villages in Cornwall which have sort of 1 bus a week, and if you're and now all the banks are shut and the post office is shut, if you're an elderly person living in and you've got to go on what you call it, internet banking, if you can trust that.
Yeah.
The coastal area isn't too bad because it caters to the tourist, but if you actually live here, you do feel you're kind of forgotten down here. When the government goes on about Britain, they completely forget, and they start bringing all these taxes in on your car.
Yes.
You've got to forget. My son had to go to college, and to get to where he was going to college, it was 3 buses.
Yes.
He was getting up in the dark and having to sort of travel for 2 hours to do something you could drive in 20 minutes.
Right.
So you've got to have a car down here, and the government just don't seem to allow for that.
No, I never considered that, but it's interesting what you say. I mean, I know the bus service to Padstow is every 2 hours, isn't it? Something like that. And I've used that with good effect, you know. And but I have had massive problems. When I was walking through Cumbria, that was a big problem.
Oh yeah.
You know, walking across Morecambe Bay, you know, where it was 10 miles south, 10 miles north, 10 miles south, all the way across. And to drive it in the camper van, it was about 42 miles. But to walk it was the same. But the train was about 8 miles. Because that goes across the bridges. So it was madness, really, absolute madness. But look, it's been really nice to meet you, Tom. I can see that you're itching to carry on. You've got a card, and keep in touch. And it's been very nice meeting you. Do you have a blog or anything like that? Then?
No, I'm not a member of the 21st century.
Oh really? Oh, you're not into that kind of. Oh well. Well, I've only been into it for about the last 20 years, to be honest with you. But it's surprising how many more of the elderly people that I speak to. When I say elderly, I mean, sort of mid-60s to 70s. A lot of them are not interested in Facebook or YouTube or anything like that.
To be honest, I find a lot of Facebook is, oh, look what I've done, I'm here, you're not. And the one thing I do not understand about modern society is the selfie.
Yes.
You know, people take a photograph of their gurning mug
Yes.
with something going on behind them, and I know what you look like. I don't need to see a picture of you. If you go and watch a Tour de France, compose a nice picture of Bradley Wiggins shooting by at 30k or whatever. Don't show me your ugly mug with a blur behind you. And it's just, to me, it's just so shallow. It's a sad indictment of modern society.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I've got to admit for this, I do a few selfies, but it's on film. I don't do. I'm not. When I say I'm not a big Facebook user, I used to be a big Facebook user, 15, 20 years ago. But I mean, Facebook's gone downhill quite a lot since all of these allegations over the last 2 or 3 years. But no, I do take your point. But I mean, I've got Facebook friends, and I've got a separate site which is just exclusively for this.
Yeah.
And you get some lovely people and some very sensible comments, and it really does spur you on to have support and to, with like-minded people, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't buy likes. These are all people that I know, most of them, which is really nice. But anyway, great to meet you, Tom. Thank you very much indeed.
That's
I could
right,
talk to you for hours, mate.
No worries.
Okay, cheers now.
Take care,
Thank
mate.
you.
I'll
Okay,
see you.
bye. I've just had a wonderful cup of tea in this wonderful establishment, and this is Louis who works here. And where are you from, Louis?
I'm from here, I'm from Newquay.
From Newquay, so you're a local person?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. And have you worked here long?
Yeah, I've been here for about a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's good, it's fun.
Well, that's good. People tell me that, especially in Padstow, where I was a couple of days ago, that a lot of the local people seem to have moved out of there now because there's not many jobs, and they're all at minimum wage and all this kind of thing, and that they can't afford to live in Padstow anymore. Is that the case in Newquay as well?
I think Newquay's better. It's got more housing that you can actually afford, whereas Padstow's a lot more expensive, a lot more second homes.
Yes, I would think that's right. I mean, I don't seem to hear many local accents. Most of the people seem to be, from Yorkshire, Lancashire, London, everywhere, whereas I must admit I was rather taken with Padstow. I thought it was a wonderful place.
Yeah, Padstow's beautiful. I don't think many people have a Cornish accent anymore. I don't think I've heard one for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up in a Cornish town. Everyone had a Cornish accent there, but not so much in Newquay.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I'm parked behind, just near the railway station. I met a guy in Padstow who was watching the football on Sunday afternoon, and he's got the Vape HQ shop. Very nice guy, and he's allowed me to park behind his shop just for a couple of days while I'm passing through, and I'm in my camper van. So it's lovely, it's great. And I've met loads of really, really helpful people like that all the way through this walk. And I met some fantastic people like yourself. And it's not about walkers. It's about the people I meet and the places I see. So it's been a real pleasure meeting you, Louis. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye now. Bye bye. I stopped for a cup of tea about 10 minutes ago, and when I went in, the sun was shining and it was bright and a bit breezy, and now within 10 minutes it's clouded over, the wind has dropped completely, and it's certainly far more comfortable for filming, but it's gone quite dull now and it looks like as if it's going to rain. Whether that happens or not, I've got no idea. But I've reached Newquay. I've only got a mile and a half to walk, and I shall be back at the van, which means I can do some editing again. Still got yesterday's film to edit yet, and just take it easy for the afternoon. And I might go out for a beer tonight with Dan, that's assuming that is available. But it's been a lovely walk, and I've seen lots of interesting places, good scenery, and met some fantastic people today, so I'm feeling very happy about that.